You back inside? Okay. Sally, stay there. Betty, stay there. Come on, Timmy! We're waiting for you. Timmy's okay though, I can trust him. Come on, Timmy, good boy. He's got separation anxiety, so he has to stay with me. Okay, stay there. Good boy. Now, I prepped their food. So, Thursday. And there's some more food here. Saturday morning. And Friday afternoon. This is a pantry that I have to sort out. Oh my goodness, everything, the whole place is a mess. But I'll just sort it out. I'll put things in boxes and it should be okay. This car ain't moving today. It's stuck. Absolutely stuck. It won't move. Get down, you two. Yes, you and you. Be quiet. Stop it. Morning, guys. Bloody freezing here. Betty hasn't been feeling well. She hasn't eaten properly for the last few days. And, I'll explain that in a minute. Something to do with her period. Timmy, come on! Babies, come back home! I'm at the conservatory now. It's really, really cold here. So I think I have to put something underneath my feet because my feet freeze up. I've got mitts that I can put on my hands, but the fingers are still exposed. Yeah, just one last thing before I edit the video and I cook the food for the dogs and clean up their poo and my usual routine. I'm bloody exhausted. Yeah, I've been coughing a lot as well and the mucus and stuff like that. So maybe I think it could be acid reflux. People say don't take omeprazole because the kidney specialist or doctors say it damages the kidneys. It's like, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. If I don't take it, if I don't take the omeprazole, then I've got this acid and the mucus could be from aspiration. So acid goes up the esophagus and goes into the lungs, and the lungs, they try to protect themselves by creating mucus. They're warning you, that's a warning signal. So in the morning I've got, sorry if you guys are eating, but lots of mucus. And, I cough it out. And sometimes, like this morning, I almost vomited. I vomited a little bit of acid. It was acidy. So I thought, it could be a few things. Could be acid reflux, of course. But it could be, the mucus could be like a histamine, not dairy intolerance or gut intolerances that can create a kind of autoimmune response, so food intolerances. And that can give me that phlegm and that mucus. So today I thought I have to control my nighttime cravings. So last night I saw that there were 5 demons there, 5 Maltesers on the table, and I ate them. I had a tea. So I have to stop these teas. Teas relax the les or lower esophageal sphincter, the opening of the stomach. If that's relaxed, then you've got you're more likely to have acid refluxing. But I think I did well though yesterday because I ate those 5 Maltesers because my son left them there, and that's it. I thought, okay, I'll just eat these. But of course they've got milk inside. They're made with milk, and I'm dairy intolerant. So it could be a combination of, I've got acid reflux, but also that's got milk inside. I've been eating, yesterday also I ate, what is it? These, it's reverse, oat biscuit breaks. They're gluten-free oat biscuits. You'll be seeing, what is it? Tiosub Tao. Scarbuab. Anyway, oat biscuits. Gluten-free oat biscuits, but oat also is a problem. Even if it's gluten-free, because it can be cross-contaminated in the factory with other things like, I don't know, peanuts or grains or whatever. So it's never 100%. But even oat is a kind of a grain, isn't it? It's a kind of something that if you've got leaky gut, you shouldn't be eating. So yesterday I did quite well. I only ate lamb and some carrots and some green leafy veg. It's called cavolo nero, which is basically, it means black cabbage. It was really long, dark green cabbage. Well, it's not really a cabbage, but leafy green. And what else did I had? Chard, and that's it. I think I had spring onion. The spring onion I'm allowed to have if I have just the green bits. The green bits are okay. The white bit at the bottom is not good because it's got more sugar and it gives problems with histamine. Yeah, so I ate that. So I was doing quite well. So today I haven't eaten anything. I had water and I went out to do that work on the shredder. I feel quite good that I've... Oh, and what I did is I took the medication, the omeprazole, early. Usually I wait till late, till about 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, because I'm trying to come off it. I'm trying to wean my body off it, but I don't think that works. I think it's actually causing problems, and drinking teas and things like that isn't helping. So today I haven't had any teas. I took my medication early, early about 12 o'clock, and I'm going to eat some lamb with a little bit of low carbohydrate vegetables, low histamine vegetables, and olive oil or butter. So kind of ketovore-ish, which means like carnivore, just meat and a few low carb, low histamine vegetables. I'm not going to have any almond milk or oat milk. I might have one tea with almond milk. I just wanted to answer one guy. In one of my videos, I think he said something, he spoke about social anxiety. And he said, I think his name is Paul. No, I might be wrong. I don't know. Sorry if you're another Paul. No, I made a mistake. He said something about something doesn't seem right. It doesn't sound right. It's kind of saying that I'm a liar or insinuating that I'm lying. Okay? Or there's some kind of inconsistency here. First of all, I don't give a shit. Why would I lie? I don't care. I don't care about... I mean, you could look at it another way. I could have fabricated and made my stories much more worse, much more maybe appealing, much more... But they're not. They're not. So you should assume that they're actually real. His point was, a person who has social anxiety doesn't go halfway around the world to look for S, to look for S, right? First of all, who told you that I went half the way around the world to look for sex? You know, I have to put you, whoever you are, straight. Maybe you don't understand my story, so I'll tell you. My mum passed away in my arms in Sicily in 2003. I think was it January 2003. And then I said to my dad, Dad, I want to go somewhere far away. I want to go somewhere to forget. Not forget my mum, but the 2 years of bloody chemotherapy that I had to go with my mum and see her suffer and see other people suffer. And because I have a cancer phobia at the time, you know, anxiety, health anxiety, and specifically cancer, it really did me in. So my dad said, yeah, okay, you go. And because I'd been already to China in the year 2000 or 1999 or 2000, I thought that's a good place to go. It's cheap. It's like the Wild West. There's something really weird, you know, and there weren't many Western people at the time. So they treated me really nice. So I felt confident going there. People were nice and it was cheap. So I went to China again, but I was afraid to take the plane. You know, I'm afraid I don't take the plane. I have that fear as well. So I took the train. So he's saying that a person who's got social anxiety won't be able to go to China on his own. Now, this is the problem. And then he said a person who's got social anxiety won't be able to go to the pub on his own. Make a note of what he's saying, on his own, okay? He'll need someone to hold him to go to the pub. What he's thinking about is something like agoraphobia. When you have social phobia, you don't I'm not gonna swear. You don't want anyone around you saying it's okay. Don't worry. Breathe in. Here's a, here's a brown bag. Just breathe in and breathe out. Just calm down. You don't. You're already anxious. You don't want someone near you. So the whole point of social phobia or social anxiety, for me at least, is the social bit, right? It's in the clue is in the actual word, social anxiety. You have an anxiety of social events or being in a crowd or being in a room with people. For me, what it is being in an enclosed room. If you're outside and there's loads of people, hundreds of people, I can walk past people, it's okay. But if I'm in a room full of people, I feel that I can't get out. And if I have to talk in front of people, I feel that I'm the center of attraction, the in the hot spot, in the hot seat. And that really, gives me loads of anxiety. When you take when you take the train, or at least this is the way it was, you go to, what is it, Euston or St Pancras. You sit on the train. You don't have to talk to anybody. The only problem would be is if it was really full and I was sitting there and some kids made fun of me or someone wanted to talk to me and I felt in the hot seat and I couldn't get out. That I would start to panic. And so that's my social anxiety. It's it's not like the saying, it takes all sorts. Maybe different social anxiety is for different people. It's different. So your social anxiety might be you can't sit down in a cafeteria and eat because you're afraid of people watching you eat. My social anxiety is specific. It's indoors and being the center of attention, because indoors you can't run away. Right. So I took the train from London to Poland, and you're on your own. You're just sitting down there. You're sitting down. There might be someone opposite you, maybe. And then when you get from Poland to Moscow, it takes 2 days. So there's a night train. So you sleep in your bunk, and maybe there's two people in the room with you, but they mind their own business. But even then I did get panicky. I did feel panicky for a while, but I knew that it's something that I had to overcome. I mean, they're not going to talk to me. And then if I feel uncomfortable, I just go for a walk and then go back there and sit down. You just sit in your bunk and nobody speaks to you. And that's how it was. They might say, oh, hello, or something, and some small talk, and then that's it. You arrive in Moscow, you take the tube, and yes, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but it's like taking the tube in London. You just sit there, or you stand there. I just stood up. I didn't want to sit down, and just looked up and saw where I had to go, and then I got off after about 8 stops or whatever. If I felt uncomfortable, if I had a panic attack, I would come off the next stop, and then calm myself down and get on the next one. And, just stand and just not look at anyone. That's easy enough, okay? Because you're not in there for long. So then from Moscow, you take the train, which is 6 days, the Trans-Siberian proper, or Trans-Siberian, or Trans-Mongolian, or Trans-Manchurian. I think there are 3, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Trans-Siberian is the Trans-Manchurian. What am I talking about? Anyway, there's one that goes over Siberia, and then one that goes through Mongolia. I've taken all of them. So for 6 days there, you're stuck in a cabin with people, and that's true. But it's not as difficult as I thought. The first time I did this trip, I was really scared, but it was easy. You sit down. It might be one man or a man and a woman, because there's 4 bunks. Okay, there's four beds. You can have the up stairs one, the one at the top, or the one at the bottom. And it's a really slow train. Goes about 50 miles an hour, and you go through various and you get to know the people in your carriage. And there's many stops. You stop off, and you've got these old ladies. They cook their own food, and then they charge you £1, £2. Some stops are longer. Some stops are about an hour. Some stops. The main stop at the border is about 8 hours or something like that. And you get to go to little shops there. So, you actually make friends on the train. It's not as difficult as I thought, but I do have social anxiety. Like when I lived in China as well, I stayed in my apartment. I went to the McDonald's maybe or KFC. I kind of tippy-toed, tippy-toed around the idea of socializing, but I found that there was many times that I felt embarrassed and I felt panicky, and I just couldn't. There's many things I couldn't do. But what I did, the kind of life I led, is the same kind of life I lead here. Supermarket, because I'm used to going to the supermarket. But even in the supermarket, if, for example, the worst place is the cashier, because there you can't move, you can't like or run away, and there might be a problem with the money. Maybe I didn't have enough money, or maybe I didn't understand something, and I would go red, and they would say, "Oh, it's okay," and I would leave. So there were times where I was embarrassed, I felt panicky. I kind of lived through it. But yes, it is, in a way, it's true. It is an experience, and I thought, yeah, it's good for me to push myself. But at the end of the day, I still have social anxiety. I push myself. There were times when you got some loudmouth, some Western person. There was a loudmouth. Was it a crazy woman? And she was an English teacher. She's English. Yeah, she was sitting down with some friends, and I walked past with a Chinese guy, and they said for me to sit down. I said, no, it's okay. I'm busy. I have to go somewhere, because that would really frighten me, sitting down in a group of people, and not knowing what to say, and this lady, she was a real sarcastic lady, really horrible. I remember once I was in a restaurant, not a restaurant, it's like a cafe place. There's no one in there. Me and this Chinese guy and the waiter and maybe the cook behind. There was no one there. It was summertime. She arrived. She's a really plump woman in her 20s, 25 or something. I mean, she looks okay, but her attitude was terrible. She comes in and she with arms spread out, she goes, "I'm English. I want some food." Like, she was taking the piss. And the waiter said, "Oh, ni hao, ni hao." She said, "What do you mean, ni hao? Speak English." And obviously, she's taking the piss because he can't talk, because he can't talk English. But then I looked at her, I thought, oh, for fuck's sake. Why make the English look bad? Idiots like this. So luckily, I said to the friend, this Chinese guy, I said, "Look, we're not all like this. English people are not like this. She's just a crazy cow." That's what she is. Obviously, something wrong here. And she was teaching English to children. I met her a few times. She was so sarcastic. And I said, "Oh, yeah, okay." And then I just avoided her. It's difficult to avoid people, expats, when you're somewhere and there's only a few English or Western, American or whatever. She was a horrible person. Yeah, well, anyway. Yeah, apart from a few times, there were a few times I was really, really anxious, and I avoided all those things. So going back to what this guy was saying, something doesn't fit, something doesn't add up, or there's something. Yeah, what doesn't add up is your evaluation of the situation. That's what's wrong. The only thing that's wrong is in your mind that you think that everybody that has social anxiety has to fit a certain category. Yeah, a person with social anxiety can't even go to the pub without someone holding their hand or holding their arm. No, a person with social anxiety doesn't need another person holding them. A person with social anxiety doesn't go to the pub anyway. What are you talking about? Depending on their level of social anxiety. As I said, the clue is in the word social anxiety. Why would you go into a pub full of people if you have social phobia? Let's call it a phobia, right? You wouldn't, would you? Unless you sit in the corner of the pub and then... I mean, imagine if you go to the pub, right? And then you go to the pub and you start, dancing in the middle of in the middle of the pub and say a speech. You have no social anxiety. Or you may have, but you're hiding. Bloody dogs have eaten. Bob just jumped up on the table and started munching the chicken drumsticks that I'm prepping for them. I didn't think they could reach, but obviously he can. So I put him in the corridor. Otherwise he'll be munching everyone's food. So I'm going to give him one less. Yeah. So something isn't quite right. Yeah, the only thing that's not quite right is your evaluation of the situation, I think, because obviously we're all different, and so some people can take some kind of social interaction, and this is why I keep going to the supermarket, because I have to keep some kind. Because a friend of mine said, why don't you order online? When you to do your shopping, so you don't have to go out all the time. Once a week or whatever. If you take that away from me, that once a week that I go to the supermarket, that's my only social interaction. So I have to keep at least that minimum amount of social interaction. Otherwise, I might as well just live in a hut in a mountain somewhere, because I'm not seeing anyone, I'm not talking to anyone. The odd occasion when a workman comes, to fit in the boiler, or to deliver the oil, the fuel for the house, or sometimes they have to drain the like the sewer or something. When someone has to come and do some work, then I talk to them. But that's it. Now I'm speaking to this friend of mine. Yeah, that's my social interaction. Yeah, everybody's different. So now I think the person who said this will understand. And then if you don't believe me, all right, fair enough. Don't believe me. But if you think about it, I could have made my stories much more elaborate. Then you can say, oh, maybe it's a bit dodgy. But there's all kinds of people. It's like saying this person has got depression and yet goes out to the supermarket. I mean, that sounds silly, doesn't it? Of course, you have to bloody eat, don't you? Right? Yeah, but if your depression was really bad, you wouldn't even move. Yeah, it's true. So there are levels of depression, and there are levels of social anxiety. So your social anxiety might be really bad, and yet you're a singer. You go up on stage and you, perform and do stuff like that, and yet you have social anxiety. You might, at the end of every show, vomit. You might have so much panic. You might have really high stress levels because you do the thing, but you actually suffer. I don't think I'll be able to do that. Like, imagine going on stage in front of 1,000 people singing or saying a speech. I'd just collapse. I'd collapse before just thinking about it. So yeah, and there are other people where just thinking about meeting somebody else like sends them into like this this cycle of thinking, this fear that they don't move. So there are levels, aren't there? I'm not that high. I go to the supermarket once a week. I speak to people on the phone. Like, some people can't even speak to people on the phone. I can do that because my fear, you have to look at the fear of the person. What do they specifically fear or find uncomfortable? Now, if you find just the voice of a person uncomfortable, then obviously on the phone it'll be difficult. But what I find uncomfortable, I can only talk about myself specifically, is being in a room full of people and their eyes all looking at me and judging me negatively, of course. And that's it. That is the fear or the process that goes on in my brain. I haven't really tested it for years, so maybe I've grown out of it. I don't know. It's just like someone having a phobia of spiders. They never see a spider, so they think, oh, okay, I'm okay now. Until they see that big black spider. That's something that I have to do in the stables. There's a dark room there, and it's full of boxes that have been there for 5 years. Mice munch into the boxes, and then when they make their nest or whatever, eat whatever is in the boxes, they leave. And then there are spaces there, little caves or houses for big black spiders to go in there. And they run fast, don't they? Those big black spiders. I hate them. So in the summer, I was having a look at some of these boxes. Obviously, taking the stuff out because I have to box my stuff and her stuff and put it into storage, into my friend's house and put in my stuff. But as soon as I picked up one box, there was a bloody... first of all, it was a mouse that jumped up on me towards me, and I went back and I thought, oh my goodness. Then a big black spider, all running away. There's some funny black spiders, like, well, it doesn't matter because if it was a yellow or white, it doesn't matter the color because they're all scary, all those loads of legs. But there's those black ones with massive asses. Those are sisters, aren't they? Those are mummy ones. Like it's got big abdomens, like a big ass, and they move slowly. Ooh, oh, I don't know. So I've got how many bloody phobias do I have? Arachnophobia, like fear of spiders, fear of heights, like my knees and the pee area all like are stimulated, like you feel like you're gonna pee, or it's basically fear, isn't it? Because your kidneys, that's the area of fear. What is it? Planes? Yeah, I can't go on a plane because I'm afraid it's going to bloody crash. I remember my dad used to say, "Look, son, if it's not your time, it's not your time." I would say to him, "What if it's the pilot's time? Then I'm going down as well." No, I'm not taking a bloody plane. The last time I took a plane was when her indoors, my wife, was pregnant. And so I couldn't let her go on the plane. I was going to take the Trans-Siberian back from China. I couldn't let her go on the plane, could I? Pregnant. And it was a big bloody plane, huge plane, from Beijing to London. Was it Stansted? I'm not sure. Anyway, and on the plane, what did they show? They showed the bloody disaster movie. I think it was called the Poseidon, like a big ship, bloody, going down and sinking. I thought, why? Why do they have to show this bloody this film? I'll tell you, I couldn't wait to this bloody plane to arrive in England. And, I was sweating. I was looking down. Every little bump, like the turbulence, like gave me so much anxiety. And I was trying to be calm, trying to be calm. And that was the last time I took a plane. I thought, I don't care what happens. I'm not taking a plane ever again. Because you've got no control. If that plane goes down, that's it. You die before the plane even reaches the ground. And I was wondering, why don't they, like, as a kid growing up, why don't they put parachutes in the plane? Because if that plane goes down, it doesn't matter if you've got a parachute or not. You're dead. Apart from the fact, if you come out of a plane, you'll be sucked into the engine, unless the engines are switched off. But by the time that plane goes down, it's going down at such a speed, like, I don't know, 700 miles an hour or whatever. You'll die of just I don't know. Your lungs will probably explode. If you jump out at that speed. Yeah, you could survive, I suppose. Yeah, what they should have. Could you imagine the chaos? People will say, "No, me first. No, me first." Anyway, I'm not thinking about that because I'm not taking a plane again. So yeah, so just an answer to this guy. As the saying goes, it takes all sorts. We're all different. So one person's anxiety is slightly different to another person's, or more different. So you saying, "Oh, if he really had social anxiety, a person who has social anxiety wouldn't be able to go to the pub alone, and wouldn't be able to go on his own to China." The whole point is I'm on my own. I'm not doing it with other people, so I can control. I can get out of situations that I start panicking. If I was with a person, it would be worse. So obviously this person doesn't know what they're talking about, or you don't experience life the way I experience it. So, and that's cool as well. That's all right. But don't make these blanket statements. There's something wrong. Yeah, what's wrong is your your evaluation. You're insinuating that I'm lying. There's something wrong here. Something doesn't quite fit. What doesn't fit is your truth, or what you think. Your truth and my truth are not the same. I've told you the truth. If you don't like it or you don't accept it, that's cool. That's all right. But what can you do? If I said to you, this is the truth, and the person says, I don't quite. Another bloke was saying, nice bloke, right? And then finally, he was talking to a lady, and he said, "Well, we have to hear the wife's side of the story." That kind of means that you don't believe what I'm saying. Like, everything I said is true, but you have to listen. You have to hear the other side of the story. Yeah, that kind of means that you don't believe me or don't trust me. So there you go. Okay, don't trust me, don't believe me. If you're waiting for my wife's side of the story, you'll be waiting a lifetime. Anyway, I don't care if people believe me, don't believe me. I'm just saying what I have to say, and I think people with like two brain cells will realize when someone's telling the truth or not. Anyway, I'll speak to you guys later. I don't mean to be rude when I say two brain cells, but I mean, Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that. You see, I do make mistakes. Is it real or is this fake? No, it's fucking real. You know, when I make mistakes, I admit to it. I'm sorry. So anyway, guys, have a nice day or evening wherever you are, and speak to you guys later in the next video.